Hey Pharrell, one more scenario. In this case, let's say that our grids rotated and all of our columns somehow got off location. Um, so obviously you could go through every single one of these and align them all manually, which will take a while. But what we do have now is columns, what do I call it? I call it columns move to closest grid intersect. And with this, you just have to select the columns that you think are in the wrong location. It doesn't really matter if they actually are in the right location. You can just use it as a double check, and then simply run it. Give it a little bit of time to process. Um, and this will move them all to the closest grid intersection uh, in your model. So, pretty useful. Cool thing to note is even though it's called columns, it's actually, it'll work for anything that is based off of a single point location. So it does work on pile caps as well. Uh, Also, based on that same concept, these, because they're based on two locations, won't work, but we do have one for beams. So you can go ahead and go through, select the ones that are off, and it'll try to read off those same intersection locations. So if we go beam, move to closest grid intersection, go ahead and run that, and it'll just snap it to the grid intersects, which is essentially what we want. Oh, as you can see, it does have a little bit, like in this case, we have a grid intersection here, but we actually wanted it to be there. So that is the, one downfall is that there is a chance that the intersection will be in the wrong place. But for the most part, as long as we're close to where we want it, it'll end up where we want it. And this one might mess up over here, as you can see. I have to figure out why this column is so long. And so yeah, it's just a quick way of getting all of your joists to be sorted in order. Don't do it on, what we call these, anyway, on elements that aren't kind of attached to grids, just because obviously it'll just go to the closest grid. So if I did this on this, it would end up over here somewhere. So you can see it's just a good little helpful cleanup tool once your columns and everything. My cat's in the background. So go ahead and use that, and then there is one last aspect to this. Don't know why that's there. Now that we've sorted these out, all of our infill beams are going to be no longer equal, which is kind of frustrating. And you would have to normalize and equalize those, but as you can see, since they're not parallel because of the grid, yeah, it kind of sucks. But what we do have is quick equalize, which is essentially, it's the same thing as they are all parallel, and as you can see, aligned. And that'll work kind of on any it's just faster than doing the dimensions and having to do the equalization constraints. It's just one button as opposed to, 3 or 4 clicks. So it saves you time in the end. You don't have to use it, but I would use it. So there you go. If you have any questions, these scripts aren't running, anything like that, just give me a call and I can help you work out everything. Alright. And Nigel ruined my recording. Alright, that's fine.